What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, we're trying something a little bit different. You might have seen YouTubers outside of the FPL space do this, where they pay someone on Fiverr to do something for them and then critique it, look through it and stuff like that. So I thought, I wonder if there's people on Fiverr selling FPL advice, and there is. So for anyone that's not seen Fiverr, and by the way, this is not a sponsored video at all, you can literally come onto it and there's loads of stuff, right? So if you want a logo made, there's loads of people making logos. You can just go in, pay the price, and they'll make it for you, right? But there's lots of stuff for FPL as well. So there's people on here that will manage your team. So what I thought I would do is reach out to some of them and see if they will build me a team for Game Week 1, and then I'll talk about it on a video. So if you enjoy this, give it a like, hit subscribe if you're new, and let's jump into the first one. Okay, so I've done this with 3 different people. I reached out to them, I paid them to build me a squad, right? And I've got the conversations here. The reason I've blanked out the names and the logos, because the point of this video is not to ridicule anyone for what they've done or anything like that, or go and follow them and find them on Fiverr. It's just to show you that I did reach out. So for this one, it was €8.99. I think it was €8.99, and then there's a bit of a service fee as well. So it needs 7 days to build a squad, right? 7 days. I was like, can you do it a little bit earlier? You need the first 11 when? I said the next day or so would be great. Obviously, you can see it was on the 16th, so it was just a couple of days ago. And I tried to act dumb. I was like, do you only have to pick 11 players? I said, I'll pick the first 11 and potential bench players considering game week 1, 2, and 3. So, for whatever reasons, only looked at the first 3 game weeks. I mean, you don't really need to look massively further than that anyway, maybe 4 to 6 game weeks. But the first 3, I'm not quite sure that's enough. But let's see the squad, right? So, this is the one that they've come up with. Now, the first thing you may or may not notice, because I think the first thing is it's quite a good squad overall, right? There's no fodder in this at all. So, even the cheapest bench player is Smith Rowe, who we would expect to get most minutes most weeks. I don't know if he's going to play every single week. We'll have to see who Arsenal sign, but he's going to play most weeks. And then we've got 2 4.5 million defenders on the bench, and Martinez as well, by the way. So Sanchez and Martinez. If you're looking at the first 3 weeks, then Villa's fixtures are quite good. They play both Watford and Brentford, I think, and then the other one's Newcastle off the top of my head. So the fixtures are quite good, but I hate having rotating goalkeepers, especially one that costs 5.5 and 4.5 million. So I have checked, this team does fit the budget, but a big reason for that is not having Bruno Fernandes. And I think that most people that don't have Bruno Fernandes will make sure that they've got Harry Kane. I don't hate the Son pick, because in Game Week 3, where a lot of us are going to be looking for a captain, or maybe not going for the most optimal pick because we've got Salah, we've got Fernandes, and we just can't fit anyone else in, then I don't think Son is a bad captain. I don't think he's as good as Harry Kane, but he ain't bad at all. Elsewhere, I kind of like this team. I mean, one of the things you can do straight away when you sell Martinez down to a 4 million goalkeeper, right, and just go with Sanchez week in, week out, is you can go from Robertson to Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example. You could drop Smith Rowe down and then upgrade Sarr. So it's a good base team, and I like the fact that there's 3 Premier League proven strikers, right? Watkins had a great season last year. Antonio's brilliant when he's fit. And obviously, if Iheanacho keeps his place, then to be honest, I'll probably change my draft so that he's in it. So I don't think this is a bad draft, right? $8.99 this cost me. But it's not so bad. Obviously, it's missing Bruno Fernandes, and I do like him as an option, but it wouldn't take that much to get to him, right? You just drop Smith Rowe and Martinez down. Even if you wanted 2 rotating keepers, which I don't think is an awful idea. I don't do it, but I don't think it's an awful idea. Then Martinez down to a 4.5 saves you 1 million straight away. Smith Rowe down to a bench fodder, and then suddenly you've almost got the money for Son to Fernandes anyway. So not a bad squad for number 1. Let's check out the next one. So this was person number 2. Now, this one was a little bit better because not only was it a bit cheaper, so with the service fee I can see it was €6.46, but obviously it was €4.44, then they add a bit on. That's why it says that in the message. But I also got 3 teams. So he said, I've given, because this is my first gig, so I was the first person to pay them by the looks of it, for FPL advice. I've delivered you 3 different types of teams. You can play 4-4-2, or you can have a balanced squad, or you can have one with 3 premium players. So we're going to quickly go through all 3 and just talk about what they've done. They did ask me if I'd played fantasy football before. I said, not really. I want to give it a proper go this year. So I can make you a team in less than 24 hours. However, a great team, which is what I asked for, all right? You want a great team if you're playing FPL, is a relatively broad term since there's no single pattern on what is a great team. I'll tell you now, my team is going to be a great team, right? That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I can put a bunch of players based on my previous experience on how it should look like, balance and so on, but everything else is later is up to me. So obviously I have to fill in the blanks, manage the team for the rest of the season, right? So this is the first team. So I can't remember which one this was. Oh, this is the 4-4-2. So this is obviously Tony and Richarlison up front. Straight away, I'm not the biggest fan of Richarlison. I just think Calvert-Lewin is worth paying the extra 0.5 million more for. But you do get, although he said this 4-4-2, it's actually like a 3-5-2 because you've got Sarr, Rafinha, Salah, Son and Fernandes. I'm guessing maybe they're thinking you can bench one of the midfielders every week and just play 4 at the back. But realistically, you're benching Coleman or Lamptey every week and playing 3-5-2. So one thing I like about this, I've actually made a draft similar with a slight few changes. Like I would really want Trent if I could afford it, and I probably would want to spend either the extra 0.5 on Richarlison to go up to Calvert-Lewin, or I would just get a different 7.5 in there, Antonio, Watkins, Ian Atcher that we saw on the last draft. But being able to get Son in there, so you've got your Salah and Fernandes captains for most of the first 6 weeks. But game week 3 is a bit of a weird one. Man United do play Wolves, I believe, in that week, so potentially Fernandes could be an option. With Wolves, I'm really not sure about how to think about them because their defence is usually quite good, but they've got a new manager, probably going to have a new way of playing this year. Will they be as defensively solid? If not, then possibly you can get away without Son or Kane and just captain Fernandes instead. I'm not sure. The biggest standout here for me is just I'm not sure about the Coleman pick at all. Now, I would expect him, if he's fit and available and they don't sign anyone else, to play most games. But there is all this talk about trying to get Dumfries in there. I'm assuming to play as possibly a right wing back or just the right back, and maybe Coleman will be managed a little bit. I just think for 5 million, Sofao is a better option, for example. Maybe even Dunk at Brighton if you want to spend a bit extra. James Justin when he's fit, although that's probably a little while away. Or you just spend 4.5 on Aït-Nouri at Wolves. You spend it on Fofana. You spend it on Ben White. There's lots of other options. I just don't think Coleman is that good of an option, really. I mean, it's a bit cheaper than going for Luka Dean, but again, you could probably switch things around a little bit here, maybe downgrade Son. And by the way, I'm not saying you have to downgrade him, right? I don't want to just say that all the changes have to be straight back to how my team would look, but Son down to a 9 million and 8 million gives you a lot of money to spend elsewhere. And then they sent me another team. This is the heavy team, they called it. So this has got Salah, Fernandes and Kane. I don't think it's that bad, right? You probably have to have Tony if you also want a Liverpool defender in there. There probably is a way to stretch the Robertson. Again, Coleman's in this team. They're a big fan of Coleman. But you drop Coleman to a 4.5 million, then suddenly you can do Robertson to Trent, who is someone I would want to start with. And then you're basically playing probably 4-4-2 in this draft. But what I would be doing is probably shifting Cantwell down to a 4.5 and then upgrading Smith Rowe to like a Harrison possibly or a Saka, someone like that, at 6.5 million if that's where you want to spend. And like I said, Coleman down to a 4.5 to do Robertson to Trent. And I don't think it's that bad. You are having to make a few compromises, but you get to start the season with Salah, Fernandes, Kane. It depends how many other value picks you want to go in there. The big thing with Kane is, are you okay with not captaining him in Game Week 3? I think Game Week 3 is a bit of a problem, right? Because of how the fixtures fall. I think that's the week that Liverpool play Chelsea, so you're not really going to want to captain Salah. But I don't think this team is that bad. Like, if I think about how I'm building my 3-4-3s, I've got someone like Tony in there right now, and Calvert-Lewin and Watkins probably, or Antonio. And then it lets me have an extra big midfielder, possibly Sancho, someone like that. That's what I'm thinking of. Can I stretch the Sancho and Son in that midfield by not having Kane? And is that better overall? It all comes down to captaincy. And that's probably what I've not quite figured out yet in my own head. So I don't mind this heavy squad, but I just don't see the point in having Cantwell and Smith Rowe personally. And then this was the last one. I think this is the one they called balance. This is more likely what you're going to see on like Twitter or someone like that. So you've got your 4.5 million bench fodder. You've got your 3 strikers up front. I really like that squad. It's decent. Okay, so the third and final one was no messing. It was like, can you do this? Yes, of course. Do I just pay? Yep, that's it, right? So I like this one. Basically, he said you got to pay the original price on a gig because all of them are like, I'll manage or give you tips. And I was like, can you just build me a team instead? So straight in. Now, this one was different, to say the least. Not massively different, but different in places. So Martinez, who is quite highly owned, but you don't see him much on YouTube teams or Twitter teams because ultimately the first 3 fixtures are good for Villa and then they get really tough. So I personally don't think he's a great buy. He was on my avoid video and I will stick by that. Jorginho I don't really get either, but what this person did, which I've got on my other screen, which I won't show you, but they sent me a massive list of reasons why. And we're talking like paragraphs for each player, right? So fair enough. So I want to find Jorginho, okay? Just to see. So Jorginho is more of a bold pick as he is more of a holding midfielder. However, this didn't stop him in the 2020-21 season as he got 9 goals and assists combined. Jorginho is Chelsea's main penalty taker. Yeah, correct. And his Euro 2021, or Euro, well, it should be Euro 2020. I get it though. It was in the year. Campaign was simply phenomenal as he displayed his passing range, breaking the lines and playing balls in behind. This will be dangerous in the Premier League this season, playing the balls in behind to the likes of Werner and Havertz, who may finish the chances, result in an assist or win a penalty, which Jorginho would then take. Jorginho is an underrated pick. I could see picking up many points this season after his Euro 2020 campaign. I just don't agree. Yes, he's a penalty taker. That is quite big. Chelsea might win him. Generally, you just can't predict when penalties are going to happen, right? We probably know Man United are going to get quite a few because they usually do. But I'm just not sure about the Jorginho pick. Elsewhere, right, one thing here is there's no Salah. They've got De Bruyne. Salah is non-negotiable for me, right? If he is fit, he is in. There is no one, I could go on an hour-long podcast where the whole point of it was the other person to tell me why Salah's a bad pick, and there is no way they could convince me that in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 24 hours, Salah would still be in my team. He has to be in for me. I've said this on other videos, right? I do not care how well owned a player is. If they are the player to own, they will be in my team. And you just look at Liverpool's fixtures, they are ridiculously good on paper. Of course, it might not work out. Salah could blank for the first 6 weeks of the season, but it still wouldn't be a bad pick. So he has to be in. De Bruyne is someone I like. I owned him quite a bit last year when he was fit. I just don't think him versus Salah, there is no question for me. But let me see what was said. Another player that no words are needed for. He is simply world class and can make anything happen on the pitch. De Bruyne managed to get 6 goals and 12 assists and picked up PFA Player of the Year at the season because of his great season. His goals assists may not seem convincing. However, he managed to achieve these while battling injury during the season. De Bruyne is a must-have player, this person says, and will make you regret it if you leave him out of your 11. I'm not sure he will. Even in this little document, he sent me ones to consider, like if I wasn't happy with a team. Salah's not even listed there. It's Kane, Sofal, and Tony. So fair enough, 3 very good players. But Salah's not even mentioned in the players you might want to pick. I would love to. Maybe I should have messaged this person back and just said, what about Salah? But he's not in. Maddison, I don't mind if he's going to continue to keep his spot, which I don't see why he wouldn't. I think Leicester's opening fixtures are quite good. Leicester also play Norwich in Gameweek 3. So potentially captainable. Not sure about Maddison, but Iheanacho, who's in the team, if he keeps his place, like I said, he starts alongside Vardy and they play well, then Norwich Game Week 3, Iheanacho could be a decent captain. I like Luka Dean, I like Fofana, etc. I don't even mind the double West Ham defence because I think the fixtures are quite good. But no Salah, non-negotiable for me, and Jorginho, I just don't like him as a pick. There we go, that was it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Something a little bit different. I don't think I've seen done before in the FPL space. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll be back from tomorrow onwards to do all the usual content for pre-season as well. Do give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. And if you want to support me a little bit further on Patreon, there's a link for that in the description below. There's some pre-season content on there already. There'll be more throughout the season as well. And there's 3 different tiers you can sign up on. Big shout out to everybody that's already signed up. So we've got the Superstars 1 year plus, the Veterans 2 year plus, and I think the new recruits. I think I've got everybody on there that has signed up kind of since over the Euros and pre-season so far. So thank you very much to everyone that has already signed up. If you haven't already, please make sure you do. Link in the description. I'll leave it there. Give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again tomorrow.